let's move on to our next topic. And Eric, that's you, buddy.
Yep. All right. A General Direct and Mario. At present, rumors are flying primarily from Nashville for a General Direct happening no later than the end of March. More specifically, there's a chance the Direct is next week, because Nash claims to have multiple sources suggesting it would be next week. Notably, Nate the Hate has not shot down this claim yet, and says he hasn't heard either way. And that's Attack the Backlog.
Yep, I got it open.
Tweet. Okay, you got it open. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can read off this part.
Yeah,
so Attack the Backlog, obviously Nashville have been doing podcasts together. They know each other. You guys know this if you follow my channel or Andres Research channel, because we've talked about this. But we got like a little summary here of the actual like main Direct rumors, because it's pretty much all coming from Nashville. And Nashville put out there after Attack the Backlog. I went and talked to him privately today just to get some clarification, because there's been a little bits of misinformation that I think is just due to lost in translation, because not everyone, like me, I don't speak Spanish, right? So like I'm reliant on just what Attack the Backlog said in translation, but what he said in translation didn't necessarily match everything that Nash said. Like there was a thought that the source that said 3D Mario also said Direct next week. That's not the case. That is a point that seems like got lost in translation. So here's what the official information is from the rumor from Nashville. It is there is a Monolith Soft project and a 3D Mario game. Both games will appear in a Direct General, so a General is on Direct. The source telling Nash about Mario is the same one who told him about DK Bonanza. So to recap on that one, last year Nash came out and said, "Hey, DK is what's happening this year, not Mario." And that was before anyone else said anything. And then, yeah, Donkey Kong was what we got. Donkey Kong Bonanza, we didn't get Mario. So,
and for the record, there are still people saying that was somehow just a lucky guess.
I don't know how you can lucky guess that.
That's like, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Like it's like going to McDonald's and expecting a taco
and not a burger.
Yeah, like that
3D Mario had to be one of the big games for the first 6 months, because we hadn't had one since 2017. And we didn't even know 3D Donkey Kong was a thing. Like we knew there was a Donkey Kong game in the works from the rumors, but it was, no one could figure out if it was 3D or side scrolling. And no one in their right mind thought, even if Donkey Kong comes this year, that, we're not going to get Mario. Mario is clearly going to be the big holiday title. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyways, this source, however, has not given Nash a time scale for the Direct. So this source is not even talking about when this Direct is happening. This source, however, did tell Nash that Mario will be this year's big game and appear in a Direct General. And I think also, and like towards the end of the year. So think holidays is when the game will come. It'd be their holiday game to pair with Pokemon. Nash has a number of sources saying the Direct will be in February, in particular next week. And a number who say March, though one has since changed to say February as well. So one of the people that were saying March is now saying, no, it's February. And he only has one still left saying March. So there's just only one source he has saying March. Everyone else is saying next week. This was a huge clarification today, that pretty much most of his sources are saying next week. Nash has confidence in the third week of February because it comes from a reliable source who's been very accurate, obviously, in the past. So that's kind of like the summary on why we're even having a conversation at all this week about next week's potential, or even 3D Mario, which is obviously the bigger news, is 3D Mario being this year more so than if it directs next week or if it's in March. It's more so 3D Mario is massive. Eric, back to you.
Back to me. So again, this gets us to 3D Mario. We haven't had a 3D Mario, a fully new game release, since October 2017. We're long overdue at this point, and many were surprised we didn't get such a game last year. Nashville claims the same source has told them that we were getting Daycare, as you said, last year, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. However, we have never on this show had a big discussion on 3D Mario. This makes sense because it's been nearly 9 years since we've had one. So before this game is revealed, which will give us endless Mario goodness to discuss, let's take this time to talk about what we want this game to be and what we think makes 3D Mario so special. Where do we think they may take the series next?
You want to go first?
Yeah. Alyssa, go ahead. I know Andre said, but
I was like, that's it.
I'm not like a big Mario lore and like super fan like a lot of
Blasphemer.
You guys are.
Heretic.
I still enjoy Mario, and I played like all the 3D ones except for Galaxy 2. I've yet to play Galaxy 2, but other than that, I've played all the 3D Marios, and so I've heard, and I enjoy them all very much. But I'm not really sure like what they would do for this next one. They always do some kind of new mechanic. They kind of keep like that core of collecting with it, like the moons, the shine sprites, and the stars. I know you guys have mentioned before about potentially like crossing over like IPs, and I had to come up with a name for that. I call it cosmic crossover. So if that's the name, you heard it here first.
Hell yeah. I like that name.
Yeah. I definitely would want to see like Bowser in the next one. I don't really know how many games Bowser's not featured in. I want like another big bad with him though, like a false one where you think that's the bad guy, but actually it's all Bowser, like how they did with like Zant and Ganondorf and Twilight Princess. Maybe a thing I did think about, like, because I was like trying to think of something like before the show, because I was like, I gotta think of something like a little unique at least. Maybe they give Mario some kind of instrument this time, and it interacts with the environment and puzzles and like enemies. Like maybe you play a certain song and it makes enemies really small, or you play the song and it makes them like really big, and you need to do that to kind of get. Maybe you can like get them to like go progressively like taller, and you got to like jump on them to like get up to whatever collectible they decide to go with. But it is really weird to like not have Mario this early on. And I love Donkey Kong, but it's not Mario. I'm not on board for 2028. I think we're getting Mario this year. Sorry, Nate.
Why you apologize?
I don't think we're going to 2028. I think we're getting Mario this year. Either this year or next year at the latest. I think next year at the latest. I could, if this year is a quiet year for Nintendo, but next year they bring out all the big bangers, I'm okay with that. I just don't really think they can make it with what they have now in Gen 10 Pokemon. I think they need something, whether it's like Mario or Luigi's Mansion. But yeah. Sorry.
I like your idea about characters getting smaller or bigger. Your Zelda love definitely like showing in through that example, but I do think there's something to it that could work with the framework of Mario. Like as you were talking about it, it was kind of reminding me a little bit of the cherries in 3D World, which were really cool because when you get the cherries, it would duplicate you, and you could, if you, every cherry you would get, you would duplicate more, and so that would kind of have like really weird kind of platforming puzzle implications. And so I could actually envision them providing a power. Maybe it is musically based. That would be neat. They can make that a little bit more engaging that way. But yeah, I could envision a power up that's not really a power up, but a world changing, an environmental changing like block you hit or something you grab that maybe does change the sizes of the enemies, and so that does impact how you go about exploring the world. I actually think that could be really cool. I mean, if you think about it, there are the mini mushrooms and the giant mushrooms, so it would be kind of like a reversing of that. It would be an area of effect, like mushroom thing, like a mushroom spore. Like it's just like it sends a like a kind of
cloud.
Like yeah, and that causes characters to get bigger or smaller. And Nate is about to die.
No,
he looked like a cherry.
Relax.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't look good there for a moment.
I was just having. Look, I muted my mic. You were supposed to comment on it. I was coughing. Oh my god.
You looked. I was worried. I was worried.
What if they want you to use the microphone and you like give commands? How do you guys feel about that?
No.
No.
No, I hate having to.
I'm just trying to think of like, because Nintendo tries to do like gimmicky things with their new things, and the microphone's kind of an added thing. So I was just trying to like, I literally just pulled that out of the air right now. So I'm not.
Yeah, I can't. You know how it is when you call and you have to like say your birthday and say what you want. It's like, no, dude, you never get it right.
Jeez.
I don't want to deal
Mario
with that.
jump and he just rolls off the cliff. That's not what I wanted.
The only time I liked talking to my game was for Dreamcast with Seaman. Nate, do you remember that?
Why is everyone picking on me right now in my
Ask me
memory?
if you remember, because I just dropped an obscure game, and you
I
might
know
be the
the
only one who
game.
knows.
I know the game, but I'll
Seaman.
explain that. I'll explain after the show. But I
Not,
know the game.
not Seaman, Seaman.
That's why I thought you were asking, Nate, because he probably knows.
It's either that game. Depends on, I guess, what you're doing. Anyways, moving on. I don't know. Stop dragging me in. It's not my turn. And then no one talks. Okay.
Well,
It
It can be. I'm
I was
done.
trying not to hog all the sound space or whatever.
So this is what we want from 3D Mario, right?
Yeah.
Look, I was talking earlier today to Blake. We're on Twitter. He's saying maybe it could be Galaxy 3. Look, I know we got the movie, and like as far as a movie tie-in, that would make sense. Yes, I've always thought these 4 like titles or scenarios. I told him either universe, omniverse, multiverse, or dimensions. And I really want to see it cross over into, I think in a dream scenario, I would love to see it cross over into other Nintendo IP. That would be insane. But if it doesn't do something like that, I think you could do something like a Dimensions or a multiverse where you visit all these other Mario games. And it's different now. You know, like you could almost look at it with Odyssey, with Super Mario 64 stuff. But think of it like obviously on a much grander scale. Like you're visiting different time periods. I'm a real sucker for time travel. And I think that would be so interesting if Nintendo factored that in a Mario game where, like, imagine you go to, say, another dimension or multiverse, and modern day Mario goes back to the 80s where it all started. And like you play through that. It could tell the story of Mario and Donkey Kong, of like how all that started. There's just a lot of different scenarios that I think would be really fun if they did that. But if they don't do that, man, you know what I want to see? I want to see a variety in worlds. A really big variety. And I think they done pretty good. Like Mario 64 did a really good job with that. I enjoy varied environments in games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the music, you know, like Mario 64. Obviously, Galaxy soundtrack is great. Odyssey, you know, you have the main song. I really like the music though from 64. Like that, I don't know why that music just still always sticks with me. I want something to hit like a scale of 64's music and Galaxy's music. You know, like fully orchestrate it.
Let's go
Yeah, I want like things like that.
in 4K.
Yeah, in 4K for sure.
60 frames per second.
That's a given.
Yeah, that's given.
120 FPS. I mean, I'll settle for 1440p 60.
I would too. 1440p is still really,
Yeah.
really nice, really clean. You know, a big part of me just like I don't believe we're gonna go Galaxy 3. I don't. I mean, if you did, like, what kind of ideas would you introduce? We always know every Mario game has to be different. Like every Mario game that's on a new console.
Multiple universes.
We had 64, first 3D Mario. You had Sunshine with Flood. Obviously, you had Galaxy with the Gravity. That was a really big deal. And obviously, the controls were unique because it was on the Wii. I think a lot of us, especially like
Yeah.
us, like hardcore gamers, were like, I hope they get the controls right. And then of course we played it and like they nailed it. Job well
Yeah.
done.
I still wish they had more free roam. A free roam camera was probably the worst sin of the Wii era, not having it from most Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's a
But,
good point. It
you know.
is.
It was okay.
Odyssey Cappy. What are we doing next though? Is it a hybrid between like 3D Mario and Super Mario 3D World? I've seen that thrown out there a lot.
I got an idea with Cabby.
What's that?
So, you have like you're back at Peach's castle. You have a bunch of just NPCs walking around. All them like different Mario characters. And then basically each door in the castle is a new world. But you start off as Mario, and then you can take over their other characters with Cappy, and you go into like there's a bunch of different levels based on their worlds. So like Yoshi, Toad, Donkey Kong, things like that, and you can go into the world not as that character. You have to go in as somebody else and do a bunch of different things within that world. So it's kind of like mashing up Mario mashup, where you bring other characters into different worlds and play through their levels type of thing.
That could be interesting. Also, like from the standpoint, because as you were saying that, I was thinking, if you had something like a Mario 64, you open the door, jump through the painting. Obviously, like if each painting was a different world, a different IP, or different worlds within some select IPs, right? Because you could have a Donkey Kong painting you jump through, and it could be something related to, I don't know, Donkey Kong Country 1. You have an own related to Donkey Kong Country 2.
It forces you to play as a different character other than the one that belongs in that game.
Yeah.
I think it could be an interesting concept.
I mean, one of the things that gets talked about a lot is like, do they go fully open world?
Yep.
Like after Bowser's Fury, which is interesting with Bowser's Fury because we call it open world, but like it was locked and closed off. Like you had to unlock areas, which isn't really what traditional open world's like. Obviously in the end, once everything's unlocked, you can go anywhere. But like that's not really much different from Odyssey. You unlock all the worlds, you can go anywhere.
I mean, it's
just because how they're connected. That's why people call them open world. But
I mean, it is open world. It's a small open world that gets bigger.
It's small. Yeah, it is small, and it does get bigger. And even at its biggest, it's still, if we're honest, guys, it's not that big.
It's still small, relatively. Yeah,
but it also isn't meant to be a full game. It was, an experimental thing.
It's still a game that is a continuous. There's no loading screens during the main gameplay, right? It's a seamless experience. It's meant to give off that feel.
What? Do you want them to do that for the next Mario?
I've been really excited to share an idea I have.
Okay.
This whole topic. Can you do me a favor and let me share this? Yeah, it's something crazy, but I just think it's a really good imagery for what I'm about to talk about. So this is the Mario Galaxy movie poster, right? I think I don't think I'm alone that when I saw this, I was like, man, they need to show 3D Mario immediately. And yes, I do think the game's going to be more open. If from a sales perspective, Nintendo has seen that when they go bigger and they execute, the sales show. Mario Odyssey they went back to the not necessarily open world, but just more open adventure. Games sell better. Kirby and the Forgotten Land went 3D finally, best-selling Kirby game. Donkey Kong Bonanza, they finally went back to 3D. It's not open world, but it's very open environments. It's pacing to do incredible. Obviously, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Heck, even the recent Pokemon games, despite all its glitches and issues, has done really well. Mario Odyssey, going back to the sandbox environments, best-selling 3D Mario by far. So clearly, there is a lot of evidence from a sales perspective to show that going bigger and executing well, or in some cases, like in Pokemon, not even executing well, does yield better sales. And then you brought up Bowser's Fury, right? Like, yeah, clearly that's the last thing we've seen. It looks like they put in an open world campaign into the least open world Mario game ever. So it's just very interesting they did that, and I think that kind of shows their perspective. So for sure, I think they're going to go for more open adventure. And we've been talking about this for years, that Yoshi would play a significant role with Mario's 40th anniversary and the movie. There would be a Yoshi game. All of that we've talked about and predicted for years. But there's more. I believe there's more. And that more, I believe, is that Yoshi will play a significant role with the next Mario game. Plessy was the mount in Bowser's Fury, which was, I think, a fun little proof of concept. But bringing back Yoshi and having Yoshi more readily, like Yoshi's usually available in it kind of, hit or miss, but he's oftentimes more available than Luigi in a lot of the Mario games, but he's never really like the big thing that you play. He's not like Epona to Link usually, unless it's Super Mario World. They need to make him like that in this next game. But anyway, this is my idea outside of Yoshi being a mount in the game. You know how Nintendo went to Zelda and they're like, let's not make an open world game. Let's make an open air game. Let's go beyond open world. Let's the idea of open air is to express a greater sense of freedom and verticality, right? Which is what they accomplished. With the next 3D Mario, my idea is not that they're going to go open world. They're going to go open space. Open space. So hear me out here. In Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, like you had these small little planetoids you could jump between as little platforms in a overall very linear fashion. But imagine if the next game, it's not sandboxes that are flat. It's giant spheres that you explore as their individual worlds. They're so big, these spheres, that they may not look like they're not going to look like little balls, right? You'll have to kind of move about a little bit, elevate yourself a little bit to see just how round they are, and there can still be some level of gravity mechanics. I don't think it's crazy to think that Nintendo would bring back some ideas and kind of reimagine how they might work under a different framework. They do this all the time. So I think they could bring back some Galaxy elements, and I think that actually would be really good marketing. This clearly, all of this is planned with Galaxy 1 and 2 and the Mario Galaxy 3 movie. Like, I think, they're gonna, if they're coming out 3D Mario this year, there's going to be cross promotion involved. There's going to be people who watch the movie who want to pick up the game, and there's people who are going to see the game who are going to want to watch the movie. So having elements, I'm not saying it's going to be the Mario Galaxy movie game. That's not what it's going to be. But I think there are going to be elements that you're going to be like, oh man, Yoshi and Mario look awesome in the movie. I'd love to play a game that have those guys in for Switch 2 that's more than just like, a remaster for Galaxy 2. Like, I could see that. And so, like, literally, like, just look at this planet. It's huge, right? You guys know what this planet is, right? If you play Galaxy, this is Rosalina's, like, there's like a little planet you explore. Like, you could run around it in like 15 seconds. But obviously, this is not, it's like they recreated the planet where that little thing that you can just like jump onto is an entire castle now. There's a whole like, front lawn area. There's multiple towns, like this is, if this was made into like a planet, this would be a huge map, right? This map would be bigger than the Great Plateau. If it was actually something you could play on. So they turn a small little planetoid to something like that. But imagine that was like each world you could explore in this game. It's all open galaxy, open space, right? Like it's all interconnected. Like you're going to play around this giant planet, maybe something like this. And when you need to get to the next one, you're going to have to find a way to get there, but you can see it. It's visible to you when you look up into the stars. You can see the next planet or other planets. I feel like if they did something like this, this would be like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece kind of experience that would just blow people's minds. So open space.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, why not? Why the heck not?
I think it's a great idea. That's
Yeah.
one of the I want to say one of the better ideas. Could be the best idea. I haven't heard a ton of ideas that have really stuck. That one makes so much sense. I would love to see it.
And obviously it ties in a bit with the movie.
Yeah.
So like cross promotion, super easy, super
And
obvious.
that's grand right there.
And they wouldn't even have to call it
Open
a galaxy game. You know,
That's
you can
new.
do whatever. It's a completely different thing than Galaxy.
I definitely don't think it'll have Galaxy in the title.
Yeah.
Stash, you brought up a few different name possibilities. I think all those are possible. I've liked the idea of Super Mario Universe. Maybe that would, if this idea is what they're actually doing, or because there was that rumor, both you and Alyssa brought it up, like this idea of like interacting with other Nintendo worlds. Like I don't want to rule that out either, right? Like that idea supposedly it's like Nintendo played around with the concept. We don't know if that's actually going to be in the final product. But both ideas could exist in the same game theoretically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Someone brought up also a cool name, Super Mario Cosmos. That'd be good.
I just had another brain blast while you said that actually. It's actually a minor brain blast, but it's just kind of piling on. Because we're talking about the Odyssey team, right? Or that EPD group, and they share ideas. Mario Odyssey had the kingdoms, and then in Bonanza, Bonanza structure is amazing, by the way. Just want to say that, like, you start off in one area and you're just finding these giant holes and getting deeper and deeper into the world, right? It's not open world, but it's all interconnected, right? It's a very believable structure. It's very, in a way, it's kind of more like Xenoblade in the sense where Xenoblade 1 or 3, I would say, in the sense that like you have these vast areas you're exploring, but you're generally headed in one direction. And so I think that's really cool. But like you look at Bonanza, each area is huge, right? Like these areas are bigger than the areas in Odyssey. And so what I'm talking about for this concept for this Mario game, an open space game where each planet or world you explore is massive, right? Like, and then you go to the next one. They're interconnected, and you could maybe find a way to fly between them, and then you ride around, you run around them on Yoshi. Like that's all still possible, but I just kind of like the idea that I can kind of see the members of the Odyssey team, like you kind of see the logic that went into Bonanza, like having these interconnected open environments, and then moving on to an open world game for Mario, where they're like, all right, let's create like giant planets and let's think about how you get from one point to another. And I guess technically it would be one giant solar system.
Yeah,
It's pretty sick. I mean, I like all the ideas you're presenting. The only thing I want to bring up is it's cool to talk about like how the game is structured and like where you might be going. But Mario also sometimes does this thing where, and we saw it with Odyssey, where like there is a new gimmick. In Odyssey, it was the Cappy, right? And all the cool things you do with Cappy and take over different things and you can take over humans. So, like, do you think there might be like a new gimmick for this one? And if so, what would you like that to be?
Oh, I guess it kind of depends on what you define as a big gimmick. Because I feel like
I mean,
what I'm describing would kind of be like a big gimmick. Like you know, having a massive solar system that you're exploring, you know, as a platformer. But I mean, I do think there would be more.
Yeah, because like you can have that massive, but that none of that's gameplay. That's world building. So like, what's the gameplay catch that makes it different than other Marios?
I mean, I think within this framework, there you would be in spots you would be bringing in some galaxy mechanics, right? But that's not necessarily new. But in different circumstances, it could be extremely interesting. And I guess in this scenario, I'm envisioning Yoshi as kind of being Mario's sidekick, not Cappy. But like, you know, in Mario Sunshine, you had Flood that kind of gave you that extra platforming ability. In Galaxy, you had the Luma, right? And then in Odyssey, it was the Cappy. So is there going to be something else that gives Mario like that extra level of platforming ability? And if you make Yoshi kind of like the companion for this game, I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting, like, because you don't want to make it so Mario's always on Yoshi, right? But like, what if it's a game where Yoshi is, and actually this makes a lot of sense, it's one or the other. You can choose to ride on Yoshi, or Yoshi's tagging alongside Mario the entire time, you know? Like in Bonanza, you have kind of Pauline on your shoulder, but isn't there times where she sometimes gets off Donkey Kong's shoulder sometimes, but not really like for the gameplay. So it's I don't know if it's that much of a stretch, but I can kind of see a scenario maybe like Yoshi. It's just Yoshi. Like Yoshi is that companion that gives Mario that extra stuff. Like there are some puzzles that are between the two different characters, and this could even be really great for co-op. We know how that the Mario team loves having some form of co-op in all of their games. Like they could do that.
Okay, cool. Anyone else have other ideas? Or you just like that idea is so great, there is nothing else I wish to say. Oh, there's silence.
All right, here's
I gave my ideas. I spoke enough.
here's another idea. This one's just me talking nonsense. Greninja's DLC. Instead of Yoshi, you play with Greninja because they have long tongues.
Okay then. I'm a little stunned at that one.
Why are you stunned?
You wanted someone to say something else, so I gave you something. It's, you know, if I keep spitting out,
for.
Yeah, I did tell you it was nonsense. Watch it be confirmed.
Oh my god! Watch it be lick a tongue instead.
Oh damn, that would be crazy. They're gonna have it's the cross promotion, you know, because Gen 10 is coming out at the same time.
Yeah, Gen 10.
Actually,
cross promote.
Actually, maybe this is something we could talk about because I saw that they talked about on Attack the Backlogs podcast the other day. What do you guys make of the potential threat of Grand Theft Auto? Like, do you think that's going to impact Nintendo's decision making in terms of the games they put out for the holidays? Will this sway them from putting out a new 3D Mario for that second holiday of Switch 2?
No. Well, of course, I've been on record of saying this before. Like, Kiwi Talks was on one time, and he's just like, GTA 6 comes out, Nintendo can't do shit. Pokemon's the only thing immune.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, I get that GTA is massive, but nobody thinks it's coming to Switch 2 this holiday. So what about all the people that own Switch 2 that don't care about GTA? Like, they need games. There's a huge chunk of Nintendo fans that don't care about GTA because we don't get GTA most of the time. Like, Nintendo's obviously going to have a plan for the holidays beyond Pokemon. And we say this, last year we thought there'd be a plan too. And the plan was 2 exclusive games for Switch 2, both spin-offs, both that aren't like massive sellers. And then our big games are going to be Switch 1 titles that are also on Switch 2. And I don't know that plan was the best plan for the first holiday of Switch too, but also Nintendo is still obviously holding on to that Switch 1 audience, which I think by this upcoming holiday, they'll be ready to be like, okay, we're kind of done catering to that particular audience by this second holiday, which means then you need bangers beyond Gen 10, at least one. I don't doubt there'll be other quality games. Guys, like Fire Emblem could come out around that time too. I have no idea. We don't know when that game's coming out.
I think it's going to come out summer, but yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. So like Nintendo's going to have other quality games like Fire Emblem, Fortune's Weave. If it's anything like Three Houses, it's probably going to be a banger. Splatoon Raiders will be a really surprise experience, a new experience for Splatoon players that could end up being really, really good. And Dustbloods could end up being fantastic. Like that's just what we know, let alone that Gen 10's coming, 3D Mario might be coming, and there could be other announcements. So Nintendo has other high quality games that aren't just necessarily system sellers, but they're really, really nice games to have in between, including whatever Monolith Soft is doing, whether it's, Xenoblade 2 coming back with a Switch 2 edition or definitive edition, or a new Xenoblade 4, like the one kind of fly off the wall rumor out there that no one can really seem to figure out exactly where it came from. Or whether it's something else entirely, like the new IP that's been talked about for a decade at this point. Like Nintendo's going to have other high quality games, but in terms of bangers for the holiday, it's really hard to top Gen 10 Pokemon combined with Mario. And I do think GTA 6 will obviously play a massive role this holiday. I think it's going to sell a ton of PlayStations. I think it's going to obviously break all of the records for pre-orders and all of the records for launch sales. It's going to be the biggest game launch probably of all time. Like GTA 5 got popular over time. It was always big, but GTA had never been a 200 million thing until GTA Online really took off. So I do think it's going to be literally, you can see it with the trailer. They drop a trailer, 200 million views. Like, yeah, okay. It's going to be the biggest game launch of all time. That said, while you talk about the 200 million, a lot of that's just PlayStation and PC gamers. What about everybody else? Like, we can't just forget everybody else. And I feel like if everyone's playing scared, the one company that shouldn't play scared is a company that, one, could drop a Mario game that actually rates higher than GTA potentially, and two, is a company that's not getting the game this holiday. Like, why would you just say, you know what, we're throwing in the towel?
Yeah, just don't play on our console.
But it doesn't make any sense. Why would Nintendo throw in the towel because GTA is coming? That would mean they're scared of a third-party game. And I've never seen Nintendo scared of a third-party release. And I understand that GTA 6, there's never been a launch like this. But if it ain't on your system, your gamers need something to play. And Mario's evergreen. Like, why are we acting like all the sales have to be day one? Like, if there's people that buy GTA 6 that don't buy Mario right away, they might buy it next year. Like, Mario isn't just done selling. It's not one of those games that just only sells for a month.
Yeah.
I
do think that they will space things out a little bit. Like, I don't think they're gonna put 3D Mario and Pokemon in the same month.
Yeah. I think like Mario could be like October, Pokemon November.
Yeah, pretty much.
That kind of makes sense. Yeah.
And I guess the question is, will Nintendo do like the dense thing again, where like they have like 6 games that come out in like 3 or 4 months?
I don't know. Like, if you include Switch 2 editions, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's going to be little things in between, but like I consider what we know about for this. All right, so we're probably going to get Yoshi Mysterious Book in May. You know, maybe somehow it squeezes into April. We'll see.
Yeah,
but
it's on this spring, as I said.
Yeah, I'm making some educated guesses here, but I kind of looking at the history of Fire Emblem and Splatoon releases, and just based off what Nintendo's announced so far, I do kind of think that both these games are going to come out sometime in the summer. Maybe one of them comes out September, like summer to early fall is when I expect those games to come out. But you know, there's going to be some other stuff. There we do have that amiibo rumor from Special Nick. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one game that I do think maybe should worry about that timing is Dustbloods. They cannot come out by GTA.
Some people are arguing that game might get delayed till next year.
I mean, it's always possible, but if it doesn't, it is this year. Like as they've already said, we don't know. Obviously, they haven't shown it since they first showed it. If it is this year, that's a game that I'm like, okay, that one you need to get out this summer. You need to get that out before GTA, because I think that game could have more crossover with GTA players than Mario does.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Here's the thing. We haven't seen enough of the game yet. Obviously, game reviews haven't come out. If it comes out and it's reviewing like Elden Ring, oh shit. Like it might be immune because it's from software and they Miyazaki dropped another banger.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is really hard to say with that one because that's the one wild card out there that like I don't think it's going to sell like Elden Ring did on other platforms.
There's no way because it's on one platform.
It's only on one platform and it's only on Nintendo, which hasn't really had their games. In general, I know guys Dark Souls remaster stuff, but what I find fascinating though is that if it is like a 95, 96, which I know we talk about how review ratings bullshit, right? Stash talks about all the time. Fuck review ratings, but there is an impact on sales. It does impact sales. It just straight up does. And if this is like a GOTY contending level game, people are going to pick it up. It's going to sell millions. I don't know how many millions, but it will sell millions. And I wonder if, if they in particular be worried about, hey, we can't drop this near GTA because we're also a multiplayer game. GTA is going to have multiplayer.
I don't know. I looked at Bloodborne sales on PlayStation. It sold over 9 million. I'm surprised.
Yeah, there is a potential. This could be, if it is a GOTY level game like Miyazaki's known to make, it could actually do quite well if they just got to time the drop for it right.
Yeah, I am a little concerned that it's I think I'm gonna like it, but I do wonder if the multiplayer focus is gonna kind of limit its potential success. Which some people might find wild because the ordinary people are campaigning for multiplayer for sales, but I think in this case it could kind of have a reverse effect.
Well, it all depends because he came out publicly, last year in that interview and basically said they're trying to revolutionize multiplayer. And if it pulls that off, people might just pick it up because they're like, oh, Miyazaki, this guy who's like a genius, just got a 96 on a multiplayer only game. We got to check this out. Like something must be different.
Yeah. What if it's a multiplayer, but it still has like that story adventure that people are kind of craving?
Yeah. I mean, it's PvE, so there's definitely NPC stuff going on. There could be a whole story. There could be, we don't know. That's the thing. We've only seen a very small slice of the game, and watching that slice, you wouldn't even know it's multiplayer.
Yeah. Something else I was going to bring up. I kind of think that we're not getting a new Monolith Soft game this year. I think we're getting a Monolith Soft game this year, but I think it might be that or switch to edition.
Well, after the voice actress thing came out, it's kind of like
that's the big thing, right? And that whole Nate the Hate prediction that is maybe a prediction, maybe there's just stuff, and then obviously we have the rumor that there's something's going to get announced from them, right? I hope it's not just a Xenoblade 2 thing, but if we're getting that new Monolith Soft title maybe next year instead, that's fine by me. I would actually love
Xenoblade 2. If it is Xenoblade, then it is like Xenoblade 4, and it just so happens that character is coming back for some reason.
Sure. I actually am hoping that we get the new IP.
The new IP would be my preferred, but I mean, not that I don't want Xenoblade to continue. It's obviously going to continue, but it's kind of like I would prefer the new IP because we've been talking about it for so long. It's been advertised for so long. And when I say advertised, guys, it's only been like 2 art pieces, but they've been hiring for it for so long. It's kind of like it would be really
advertised hiring for so long. Yeah.
So it's like they've been working on it for a long time, and this studio, as we've seen with their games, they cook. So what could they do with a brand new IP that gets away from Xeno? We don't know because we haven't seen it.
I do want to kind of like throw a curveball in here. Like, what if this new IP, Project Legacy, as leaked by Midori, what if it's still Xenoblade? Because technically, the Klaus trilogy ended with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and its expansion. So the idea is that moving forward, whatever it is, the future of Xenoblade, it's gonna be a departure from what we've already experienced. And so it could still be very different from prior Xenoblade games, even if it still carries the Xenoblade name.
We've touched on this. You just said a Monolith Soft project. What if it's like the super chat says? I think Monolith Soft's doing the Ocarina of Time remake. That is the Monolith project that gets shown this year. Just shown. I don't know. If it is, guys, I'm gonna say this: if they're the ones doing it, and that is the project shown this year, I don't think it would be in the next direct. I think it would be something that happens when because I'm of mind, they are going to talk about Zelda's 40th anniversary. But if you look at the history of them talking about Zelda anniversaries, it's always in June or September. They don't actually talk about it in February. And the reasoning is, as much as we speculate because the actual anniversary is in February, the reasoning is because they're still usually doing Mario stuff. Because Mario begins in September of the year before. They actually do usually talk about the Mario anniversary around the time the actual Mario anniversary is. And then they usually have that leak into the next year. And so then they space out and they talk about Zelda once they're past the Mario stuff, which again, we know culminates with the movie and the Yoshi game. And sure, maybe 3D Mario, but if 3D Mario is the end of the year, I think they're going to consider that outside of the anniversary. So then if they do talk about Zelda's 40th in June, that would be around the time that I would expect to see something like maybe a tease of Ocarina of Time for the next year, as you said, around the movie. I think that spacing would be great, especially if there is 3D Mario. We talk about 3D Mario, Gen 10, Dustblood, Splatoon Raiders, Fire Emblem. It's like, okay, yeah, I think you can push Zelda into around the movie time. And that could go really, really well. But you would still show it this year for the 40th anniversary because they're going to rope that movie into the 40th anniversary. It's totally happening.
Bro, I would be so ecstatic if Nintendo announces a Zelda 40th anniversary direct.
Oh, like a dedicated one. Oh,
but because the hype behind that would just be absurd. Okay, idea. Hear me out. I'm going crazy here. Okay, we didn't get a Mario anniversary direct this time. We just got a Mario anniversary segment, a big segment in a direct. But given that there's the movie and we're expecting eventual Zelda Park announcements as well, and they got to announce some games. What if they do? Okay. If we are, I'm kind of starting to think the whole idea of us getting 3 general directs in a year, that might be dead. In its place, we get 2 major directs and we get a whole bunch of partner showcases and game-specific directs and special stuff instead.
Also, they didn't have Nintendo Today in the past, so they could start doing some game releases, like release dates dropped on Nintendo Today.
Yeah, I hate it when they do that. It's so dumb. But yeah,
they have.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I hate it. But anyway, let's say we do get this big direct, if not this month, next month, right? Maybe in summer we don't get that summer direct that we've come to hope for and expect over the years. We didn't get it last year, right? Even though the Switch 2 had just come out. And instead, what they do, they have a special Zelda 40th anniversary direct presentation. Because if they have this big direct now, they'll give us probably the release dates for Splatoon Raiders and Fire Emblem. They'll announce the 3D Mario. Like they'll kind of do a lot of that already, but maybe they won't announce anything Zelda yet. And even though I think they could, but maybe if they save it and they have a direct in the summer that's just about Zelda stuff, they could be like, all right, in the fall, you're going to get an Oracle of Ages and Seasons remake. We have here is an update on the Zelda cast. So we'll learn like the voice of Ganondorf or Impa or something officially. And we'll share more later this year where they'll give us a trailer. And then they'll announce the park. They'll announce, a concert plan. And they'll be like, and also and then maybe Aonuma will come out perhaps for maybe the last time because he might be retiring soon. And we have one more thing to share. And it's like a 30-second teaser of Ocarina of Time remake. And it's just 2027. And that would give us like the Zelda thing for this year, 2D Zelda remake. It will excite us for something big next year. And it'll set up all the anniversary stuff. And I don't know. I think a direct like that would probably make every single Zelda fan cream their pants. So
facts.
I don't think it's unrealistic either. Like,
definitely Emperor mature.
For the pants creaming, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I don't even know what we're talking about. We were talking about Mario, but I made it about Zelda.
Happens. You've been on the podcast. You know how many tangents and wandering ways we go down.
Yeah. It's the ADHD brain.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole podcast is ADHD brain.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on direct or anything like that, Mario?
I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to
ready
wait
for
until
it.
like
What have
summer,
they been
which would
cooking?
suck, but
I'm ready whenever it is, you know. If it's next week, if it's in March or before the movie, which would still be in March, but later in March.
yeah, I mean, I'll
No,
just
like-
say that
I'm ready.
for 2023 they revealed the Mario game after the movie. But this would be a bigger game. This is not a 2D Mario. This would be a 3D. This could be an open space game, not even open world, open space. So, you know, if it's open space, they might want to have some space to kind of let people understand how crazy it is.
And this is to, you know, sell your Switch 2, your new console. The last Mario was to just tack on more sales to an already uber successful Nintendo Switch. This has more writing on it.
Did you notice for the playoffs, the Super Bowl, like they had a Galaxy commercial, but it was pretty Yoshi focused. And you know, obviously Yoshi was just revealed, but you know, I do wonder if like the idea is to like, hey, like Yoshi's a big deal, right? And if you kind of really portray that in the movie, I think these theories about Yoshi playing a significant role in the 3D game, not just Yoshi in the Mysterious Book, kind of make more sense.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'll throw out there before we wrap up the direct thing. Obviously, we talked about Mario. That was the primary point of the conversation. To end with this, since potentially it's next week, do we believe Nash Weedle?
I believe that he has reliable sources, but I am concerned that maybe he's saying too much too early. There's a reason Nate the Hate doesn't say a lot until it's about to happen. It's not because he doesn't hear things, in my opinion. It's because he doesn't want to be wrong, because plans change. So,
and he's got burned.
He's gone burned in the past. Nash, I think, has maybe even more sources than Nate, at least in terms of first party Nintendo things. But I think he says a lot very early, and so because of that, I'm a little, I'm worried. But I mean, also, I think people are keep thinking, oh, third week of February. He said he's had multiple sources say different things for February and March. It's not totally solidified. One more source recently shifted to February, but that does not change that there are sources indicating there's still a window of time there. So like my brain is just kind of thinking in regards to the rumor, if the rumor is even true, February to March. You know, I'm prepared to wait until the end of March in terms of giving the rumor kind of like hope, but also if we exclude the rumor, I'm prepared to wait till June, which I think would be a bad move by Nintendo, but Nintendo's done dumb things before.
What do you think, Alyssa?
Well, the gamer in me wants it next week, but the content creator in me doesn't, because I won't be able to live react to it, so that makes me sad. So that part of me doesn't want it to happen. I'll have to like avoid the internet all day just in case. But I'm not really sure if it's next week. I'll believe when Nate the Hate says something next week that it's happening. I don't think we wait till June, though. I could see sometime in April at the latest, like maybe if they want to wait till after the Mario movie comes out and kind of recap on that a little bit and then kind of show some more Zelda stuff. Because I think we could see like one Zelda game before the movie for this year, but I don't think they're going to do like the 40th and like show a whole bunch of Zelda things until after the Mario movie. I think they kind of want to focus on Mario right now.
Yeah. Something I'll add that I forgot to mention. It's not that I don't have hope for a direct soon. It's just a big thing. So I need, you know, I'm going to talk about and have hope.
It's a
but
huge swing.
Yeah.
It's the biggest swing Nash, I think, has ever taken. And I say this not because he hasn't said some big things before and then been right or been wrong. Because, yes, we talk about all the things Nash has been right about. He's also been wrong about some stuff. However, that's because like no leaker insider is ever 100% right. Nate the Hate's been wrong on stuff too. Still waiting on Planet Kirby Robobot. Still waiting on Red Dead
and the Fire Emblem remake.
And the Fire Emblem remake, which by the way, those all could still be coming. It's just, things change, plans change, things shift. But I do want to point out that with this and the big swing, the reason why this feels like a bigger swing than when other, like you guys can say, like the biggest swing was when Nate the Hate missed, saying that it will be Switch will be revealed in March of 2024, right? Like that was a really huge swing. He talked about it since October of the year prior, and then literally a week before the supposed console delay, he literally said it will be, like he was definitive. And then a week later,
the BGC is like, you're wrong.
So yeah, that's a pretty big swing and miss. I think the difference this time is at that time in 2024, we still had a lineup of games for Switch One. Regardless if you thought the lineup was good or not, there was definitely a plan and a path for games still on Switch One that they had mapped out and planned out, all the way up to 1,000 Year Door and all that. So we knew there was games coming still for Switch One that would indicate that maybe the new system might not be that year just because there's still a game every month coming out. Regardless if you guys think it's a great lineup, it was still a lineup. But then right now, there's a lot of happy Switch 2 owners, of course. I'm one of them that's already satisfied with the system, even if nothing else came out, just because it upgrades my entire Switch 1 library. That alone was enough for me to buy a new system. Then you throw on that Bonanza is just fucking awesome. And I really enjoyed Age of Imprisonment. It's like, okay, I'm kind of good already because I don't need 30, 40, 50, 60 games to justify buying a system. I don't. Oftentimes in the past, I bought a system just for a single game because that experience was worth the price of the console and the game. I know people think that's crazy, but there's gonna be a lot of people doing that for GTA 6 coming up. Like people have that game that, hey, I just need that one game and it doesn't matter what it costs because I enjoy it that much. Breath of the Wild that launched for Switch was that for me. Didn't matter. Amazing. Like I would do that all over again if that was the only game that ever released on that platform. I do it all over again. Hell, I'll just say this right now: Nintendo Land for Wii U, dude. That game alone made me not regret buying a Wii U. That game was fantastic. We're never going to get another one because it requires a system like Wii U to do it. But God, that was fucking awesome. But that's me. And I know there's other people that are satisfied as well, just with the fact that upgrades your Switch 1 games alone was enough for a lot of people. Although that makes it kind of feel like a Switch Pro, which I get. But I do want to throw this out there. And that is that setting those people aside, there's a lot of people that own a Switch 2, or a lot of people on the fence, or a lot of people that have been negative about the system so far that are just kind of waiting, that haven't seen a game that tells them this is why I need a new system. If you own Switch 1, you could be like, yeah, I didn't get to play Bonanza or Mario Kart World, but Mario Kart World, I saw the online discourse, looks like 8 Deluxe is better anyway, so who cares? Bonanza's cool, but like Odyssey reviewed way higher, so like I'm good, I got Odyssey. And hey, yeah, the upgrades are cool, but I just don't care. I don't care about 60 FPS or the higher resolution. I'm already happy with my current system. Nothing's been shown to make me be like, this is why I need a new Nintendo system. And I think that is a reason that this feels like such a big swing. One, no one else is saying 3D Mario is this year. Literally nobody else. There's not a single insider, leaker, anyone saying 3D Mario is this year. It's very weird. Well, Stash, but he's not. Unless Stash is a leaker. And
you don't have this right here.
Yeah, it's your brain.
Need.
Yeah,
you don't have to be.
In introduction, I know all that. Make fun of me. Nate 2028. Look, the point is that that's still a guess. Stash doesn't know, right? He's just connecting dots and going, hey, it makes sense to come out this year. Sure. It always made sense to come out this year. I never argued against it making sense. My logic was just different than his, and my logic's probably wrong. And that is totally fine. I'm wrong all the time. I'll just restart. Just Research destroyed me on many a podcast, and now it's Stash's turn to destroy me.
Hey, well, to be fair to you, apparently Metroid Prime 4 is a commercial flop.
Well, we'll see. I think it's going to depend if Nintendo ever says that out loud. And
I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is actually a commercial flop. I don't think it's the 10 million seller we want it to be. But we always knew that was unrealistic.
Anyways, so because of the situation with Switch 2, where most people feel like we haven't really gotten that game, and I guess, if people want to argue Bonanza, I guess the point that some people bring up is that it started as a Switch 1 game. So it started Mario Kart World, technically. So if people feel like we haven't gotten the game that really shows we needed this system, we can all say we did because of performance of game, but okay, that's old games. What about new? So for Nash to come out at a time when people are on edge, especially when a partner showcase happened, when the entirety of the Nintendo fan base wanted that to be a general direct, to come out right now and say we're getting a general direct period by the end of March at the worst, and 3D Mario is going to be in the direct, and it's going to be the game this holiday, and we're going to get a new project or some sort of project from Monolith. I shouldn't say new project, but a project from Monolith, which again excites some people because they think that Monolith could be like a showcase game, at least showing off the power of the system, even if it doesn't sell well. It leads people to get really, really excited. But as Andres restarts, it's like it's hard to be like, I 100% want to buy in, because it's kind of nerve-wracking because people are on edge right now. And this pushes them all the way to the edge. And if he's wrong, it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna be really ugly.
It's gonna hurt, and I'll be okay. Like he said, like he's good till June. Look, I'm already satisfied with the system, but as a content creator, I don't know if I'll be good till June. But I'll make it work.
It'll be hard.
Yeah, it'll be hard, but I'll make it work, just like I did back in 2024. It was also really hard, but it's one of those things where it's the timing of the swing he's taking more than what the swing is. That is like, damn, this isn't where we already know about a bunch of games coming, that are going to be those tentpole games. It's where we got Fire Emblem, we got a spin-off Splatoon game, and we have an unknown new IP, an unknown property in Dustbloods. So Nintendo doesn't feel like they have a big gun out at the moment for this year. Now, I understand Gen 10 Pokemon can end up changing some minds, and maybe it will. We don't know. That's something that we're fairly confident is going to be shown off this month. But
there's different audiences, though.
Different audiences for Pokemon than some of Nintendo's other games. So I feel like the timing of when he's doing this is when it's like, okay, this is one of the reasons, guys, that I said, if he misses on this entirely, which I mean entirely, no general direct by the end of March, and 3D Mario doesn't even come out this year, they don't even show it. As much as that would make me smile a little bit and be like, Stash, we're 1 year closer.
Yeah, you might smile a little bit, but you'll be smiling in a dumpster.
Smile is just me smirking at Stash. It's not me actually being happy. And while Nintendo can announce other games, and they could shock the world, and Ocarina of Time remake comes out this year, and we're getting Luigi's Mansion 4 and something like cool. They could do other things. I'm not arguing Nintendo can't have other games that aren't 3D Mario that I can get really excited for. I can't get excited for Nash Weedle anymore, because at the time he's taking this swing is at the time when people are on edge. And when he's wrong, as Andres Restart says, that's very ugly. And I want no part of that ugliness in the future from him. Because he will have shown that if this doesn't happen, there's no general and there's no 3D Mario, that his sources might be full of shit. And maybe they did get lucky with Donkey Kong last year. Now, there's reasons to believe, by the way, that Nash Weedle does have real sources. Ironically, RGT85 put Nash Weedle on blast yesterday, and then today came out with his own independent source confirming a Nash Weedle rumor.
Corroborating.
I can't say confirm, it's not announced yet, but corroborating a Nash Weedle rumor, which is hilarious, because if that God of War thing's real, and we're going to get to that in the next topic, it's like, okay, well, Nash came out and said it publicly first. It's coming to Switch 2.
Yeah. So apparently, God of War rumor has existed for a while.
Yeah. This game existing has been something that's been known for a bit with insiders.
It coming to Switch 2 is the big scoop from Nash Weedle. Which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I saw on Twitter there were outlets reporting it, but they were only reporting the Nate the Hate corroboration and not the Nash Weedle OG post.
Yeah,
Of course.
they don't want to give him credit.
Convenient.
Yeah. And by the way, Nate doesn't even know if it's coming to Switch 2. He just said at the time that he heard about this game last year, it was multi-plat. At no point did he say he heard it was coming to Switch 2.
He also is not, to be clear, Nate the Hate has not said that he knows it's coming. He just heard whispers that it was
and this was a while ago. Like, this isn't recent. He hasn't heard anything recently. And then RGT comes out and says, no, a very reliable person that has no reason to lie to me 2 weeks ago. He literally said 2 weeks ago, told him this game is coming to Switch 2.
Also, this might be the what the fuck game.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I know that was in your video. I don't think it is, but that's okay.
Well, Kiwi actually quote tweeted it. Yeah.
I know.
Are we flipping to the next topic?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can flip over. But I just hold on. Let's finish.
Can I add one thing? One thing about the direct thing. There's reason to think there's going to be a direct. It's very, as Prime was saying, like, there's just a lot riding on this, so I want to be cautious. But
yeah, that's the thing. There's so much riding that if he's wrong, it hurts, and it hurts to the point that I'm not going to get involved with him anymore. However, if he's right, the exact opposite happens.
It changes. Yeah,
it changes literally everything. He instantly becomes one of the most reliable insiders. Period.
I just want to say that if you look at Switch 2 release dates for Switch 2 release dates, they stop at March. So
yeah, that's like the logical thinking that there has to be something before the end of March.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo could handle it through social media to get them to later, which would be lame, but they've done it before.
Yeah, and if they want to argue, we have Tamagotchi Life in April, so we can wait all the way till the end of April. Fine,
you could, but it wouldn't be a Switch 2 game, and it's just kind of like this is early on Switch 2 era. You would think Nintendo.
Put it this way: it's a bad look to have the Mario movie come out, and a Yoshi game's coming in spring, and we don't know when it's coming. That doesn't make any sense.
Also, this is the beginning of a generation. Nintendo should be coming out guns swinging. And it doesn't feel like they're coming out guns swinging.
No, they're coasting. They're coasting, and it's working. And at some point, you have to deliver. You can't coast forever.
They're not coasting.
Right. Then they're not if they have a direct by the end of March.
Dash, explain.
But
they have
what
a
are
timeline.
Stuff?
Ye have no faith. They have a timeline. They always have. How long we been doing this for? Like, how long we've been following Nintendo for?
Yeah, but 2024 really did suck.
They always have a timeline, guys. Like, there's always a plan in place. There's always a master plan. And when you least expect it is when they drop Super Mario Wonder, Pikmin 4, and Super Mario RPG. When you think that they're completely out of gas. And then that's what they did. And everyone was shocked. This happens all the time, which is why I don't know why everyone was shocked. But that's what happens every time. Everyone has the same shocked reaction. They forget everything Nintendo's ever done, all the history. It's just like, it's not only logical, but there's a great historical precedence for it. Ed, I do want to give my answer because you never asked me.
Yeah, well, I did. I actually did throw in, hey, what do you think of Nash? But obviously I wanted to get your logic there first. Yeah.
So for Nash, I trust him. Did this for a long time. I've said this for, I think, year or two since I started coming on the podcast. I trust this guy. I think that if the direct is not next week, all that means, and anyone who can understand a big picture and can think like an adult, okay? Which is not a lot of people, mind you. That's the sad part.
I love the insult. Dude, he throws out these insults, and I'm the one shit on tomorrow.
Dude, it's not towards you.
I know.
Obviously,
you say
in general.
When you talk about everyone's got like mental illnesses, and I'm just sitting back. The next day, I'm getting attacked, and I didn't even say anything.
Well, look, this is the thing, man. If it's not next week, all that means is, and this is like any company, again, like I have to pull from my own experience working in management for 20 years. timelines are fluid. Things change behind the scenes all the time. I cannot tell you how many times got pulled into last minute meetings and something that you planned for, a project that you had ready, that you worked on. You're like a direct, everything's ready to go. Oh, we got to move it to this week because this happened. And we never find out about any of that. And what everyone does is they point fingers and say that guy's a liar, which is fucking stupid. You know, I don't swear a lot. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, you said
That's
shit.
that's irrational.
Go all in on the stash.
It's irrational. It's immature. It just, again, it just shows you don't think like an adult. Like your brain hasn't developed to that point. Apparently, it's sad. Or you just have hive mind like everyone on social media, right? Where you just all think the same, and you just all clown on people together, which is stupid. But this is how society mainly works. So look, I trust him. It could, if it's not next week, that's not going to change. This guy, like Nash Riedel, doesn't do this for like fame or anything. He doesn't.
He doesn't even have that many followers.
He's not into that though. Like that's not his thing. People don't come out and do this. Like for that, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who want to be leakers, right? Or they want to be relied on for this kind of stuff, for like rumors. That's really not who he is.
Attention seekers. That's what I call them.
That's not who he is, man. So hopefully it is next week. But if it's not, man, it's just like I just know the internet's gonna be so stupid and so immature.
So what I fear
sad.
is gonna happen, right? Because and that's the thing, Stash. Like there are times like I'm not a leaker, but there are times certain people tell me things and I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome. I'm not going to say anything though, because I know plans can change. I know, and I don't want to get people excited for something at the chance it changes. I mean, we heard about the Switch 2 reveal in early 2024. The same Nate the Hate said that publicly, right? But like there were other people that heard that it was about to get revealed and then it didn't. So yeah. I know the people who don't have inside sources assume that that's just all a lie and a fabrication. But my belief is that there was a great level of leak bait, or it was actually an internal shift. And so my point is that, like, you know, that's why I try to always be cautious, even if I believe the source 100%. And I feel it's going to happen.
You word it carefully in your videos. Like you do a good job with that.
Thank you. At least you think so. So other people don't think so.
I know, but again, the other people are the people that I just explained. Keep that in mind.
You said it. You said it.
I did. It's true.
But what I fear is going to happen is that the Direct's not going to happen next week, and God of War is not going to be announced in the State of Play tomorrow. And people are going to be like, "Oh, see, he's a liar." But then 3 months from now, God of War is going to be announced for Switch 2.
Well, none of the rumors have God of War tomorrow. None of them say it's coming in the State of Play.
I know, but this is how it works in a lot of people's brains. Yeah. They make these
tomorrow
leaps.
Or it's fake. I'm like, but none of the rumors said it's tomorrow.
Right. And so, like, long term, what's going to happen is that because we pay attention, we're like, oh, wait, so Nash said all these things are going to happen, and eventually they will all be announced. But if they don't happen on the timeline that people want it to happen, he's a liar, even though that's not actually what's been said. So, you know, but I am a little nervous about him hearing multiple sources saying February next week. Like that to me makes me a little anxious. We'll see what happens, but I mean, I agree with you, Stash. He's gone way too much right for me to be like, okay, there's no way, there's no accuracy to this.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to comment on if they believe Nash or not? No? Okay. I want to throw out there quick before we move on, because we've already talked about the God of War stuff. We're obviously going to go in on that again. Sky Sword Alyssa has hit 500 subscribers. So just want to give her a shout.
Congratulations. Out. Yes.
Big milestone, small creator.
You
Next
worked your
up,
ass off for it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
congratulations.
everybody, tonight, too. This is awesome.
Records happen on the show.
Very
man. You're not the
surreal. I
first
was waiting
person-
for it. I'm like, when are the tears going to come? Then Nate throws it on the screen.
Yeah. We've had Game Bird hit milestones on the show. We've had other guests. I think it's important to recognize this show's about everyone, the whole YouTube community coming together, supporting each other. She does excellent content and live streams.
Thank
Hell
you. Thank you.
I mean, look at that 24-hour live stream celebration. Look at that. You ain't gonna find that shit on my channel.
I had to break it up into, it says 11:44, but there's a second part. It was 24 hours, I promise.
Yeah, because YouTube only goes up to 12 and then it cuts it off. So if
Yeah.
you want to
I
keep it
don't know
all,
how you
you
can
stop
do
the
that.
12 and start a new one.
A lot of
24
willpower.
hours.
A lot
Yeah.
of willpower.
It was a little
And-
rough towards the end, I won't lie.
Maybe poor blood circulation too.
I mean, I got up and like walked around and stretched and stuff, but
Yeah.
My gosh, we're just got savagery going on in this show.
I don't even leave. I
I'm
just
just
sit
saying,
here.
like when I'm sitting, like right now, my thighs feel really uncomfortable for how
Oh,
long.
I should have moved a moment ago, so I'm feeling okay now. But I went to
Yeah.
get ice water, and I was like, "Oh, I'm good now."
Actually,
I'm
in
getting-
fact, okay, look, there's a stand. Okay.
yeah, getting up and just walking a bit, and just it really just wakes it back up, and then things are good.